But rather, I want you to, the Bible said, to pray. And with supplication, I want you to ask humbly with thanksgiving. Give me praise. Let your requests be made known unto me. And what will happen is I'm going to give you that peace that passeth all understanding. Which passeth even the things you're asking me for. My peace is going to keep you. For you're going to tap into a place that even though the situation is there, there is still my peace is going to invade that space that you're in. My peace is going to invade that space. It's going to keep your heart. It's going to keep your mind through Christ Jesus. That whether God does it, whatever you're asking him for, whether he does it or not, God's peace is still there with you. It don't matter what you're going through. Don't lose your peace. Don't lose the peace of God that passes all understanding. It's keeping you. That peace is protecting you. It's shielding you, and it's guiding you. And now your trust is all in God rather than the things that you're asking him for. Tell your neighbor, I want that peace. I want that peace so that when the enemy comes in like a flood, I don't run and hide. I don't crumble up under pressure. I want that peace that when situation come, when sickness come, when death come, I can stand in God and still, and nothing will interrupt my peace. It don't matter if the ship may rock to the side. Tell God, I want that peace. If I can get that peace, I can make it. Too many times we lose our peace in the battle, and we're thinking that God is not there, but God is there. But he said, I want you to have that peace that passeth all understanding. I want that peace to keep your heart, and I want it to keep your mind in me. Jesus had that peace. Go over with me to Mark 4 and verse 37. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. See, Jesus was relaxed. He was asleep, though the storm was raging, though the billows were railing. He was asleep on a pillow. He was resting. He had that peace. But they came. But they awake him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? You don't care that we perish? You don't see what's going on in my life? You don't see what I'm going through? How can you be asleep? How can you lay on a pillow when you see all that I'm going through? How can you still be asleep and my life is in turmoil where I am fretting? Jesus go on to say, and he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, peace be still. Peace be still. God is saying, I want peace to be still in your soul. I want peace to be still in your heart. I want peace to be still in your mind. I know the storm is raging. I know situation is going on, but peace be still. He rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, We need to speak to some things. We need to speak to some things. He spoke and he said, peace be still. And the wind, it ceased, it stopped, and there was a great calm. A great calm. I want this peace, God, in my life. I want this peace, God, in my life, that I can go through anything and it will not take me under. I can go to anything and it will keep me, God. Give me that peace. Come what may, I am anchored and I'm grounded in Jesus. I want that peace. Keep going. And he said unto them, why are ye so fearful? How is it that he have no faith? Why are you worrying? I'm on the ship with you. Why are you worrying? You got me in your life. Why are you worrying? I'm walking with you. I'm talking with you. How can you not trust me? Why are you worrying? Peace be still. He said, where is your faith? He said, where is your faith? I'm here with you. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I know the ship is rocking, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Go ahead. And they feared exceedingly and said one to another, what manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obeyed him? Do you realize the God that you serve? Do you realize the God that you serve? That even the sea obeyed him. He said, stop raging. He said, stop raging and peace be still. And even the sea obeyed his voice. What is my situation? What is my situation where I can't speak to it and peace will be still? So you got to know the God that you serve, and you got to know that he will take you through. You got to know that he will take you through. It don't matter what it looks like. God will take you through. Will you have some scratch and bruises? Yes. But you're going to make it. You're going to make it. And he said, meanwhile you're making it, I'm telling you, you can have peace. Meanwhile you're going through it, I'm telling you, you can have peace. You can sleep at night and your sleep can be sweet. You can have sweet sleep at night. Rest in me. Rest in me. I'm on the ship. Rest with me. I'm on the boat. Rest with me. I realize there is another place in prayer where instead of the situation changes right away, it in turn changes us. It changes us. If you ever go to God and prayed for something, and next thing you know, you in turn change. And the situation may still be there, but you come out changed. You come out changed. Is God trying to get us to trust him, to believe him, to love him more than what we are praying for and asking him to do? Is he trying to get us in a place that he is greater than these? Where is he trying to get us? Because I go to God, I'm yelling, I'm screaming. But at the same time, something changes in me. And I get that peace. The situation is still there. But inside, I'm okay. I'm okay. The peace of God is now with me. And something has changed within me. First Samuel. There was a Sister Anna in the Bible. And I'm going to walk you through her story. The Bible tells us, now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, forgive me with these names, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zipha, and an Ephraimite. And he had 2 wives. The name of one of his wives was Anna. And the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Anna had no children. Peninnah had that thing that she wanted. She was good. But Anna had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife and to all her sons and her daughters portions, the Bible said. But unto Anna he gave a worthy portion. He gave her a little extra than he did Peninnah. For the Bible said he loved Anna, but the Lord has shut up her womb. And her adversary provoked her sore. They provoked her, for they make her fret. She was in distress. She was in agony. She was down. She was out because her adversaries constantly coming at her. It was a hard place for Anna. Anna didn't know, why am I going through this? Why am I facing this? She was in sadness of heart because the Lord had shut up her womb. And as her husband did year after year, went to the temple, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Imagine year after year of going, and you're being mocked, and you're being provoked, and they're making fun of you, and they're looking down on you. Anna was in that place. She was in that place of agony. She was in that place of sadness. Her soul was sorrowful. Her soul needed something from God. Therefore, the Bible said that she wept and she did not even eat. She didn't eat. Then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Anna, why weepest thou? Why are you crying? And why aren't you not eating? heart grieved. Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? He said, I've given you everything, Anna. I've loved you. What's wrong? Am I not better to you than 10 sons that you may have? But he did not understand that this was a woman of a sorrowful soul. This was a woman that wanted something bad from God. And I know that you love me. I know that you care about me. But this thing that I want, you can't do it from me. It's going to take God. It's going to take God. I know you love me, my husband. I know you do. But please understand, it don't have nothing to do with you. Verse 9. So Anna rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon his seat by the post of the temple of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul. Her soul she was in bitterness. She was in agony. And she prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. She never stopped. Why aren't you happy? I'm good to you. But she said, something is going on in me and I need help, God. I need something from you, God. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and please remember me. Just please remember me, God, and not forget thy handmaid, but will give unto thy handmaid a man-child, that I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. Anna's desperation wasn't greater than her commitment. Listen to what I mean. What Anna wanted from God was not greater than her commitment to God. She was willing to make a vow to God. I want that child, God. My desperation is deep, but yet my dedication, I'm committed to you, it's even deeper. Her love for God was greater than the son that she was praying and asking God for. She was willing to give it back to him. Here is something that is precious to her heart, precious to her soul. Here is something that she has wept and cried out to God for year after year after year after year. And she said, God, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to vow a vow. I'm going to vow a vow unto you, that if you should do this thing for me, God, I in turn is going to give him back to you. If the thing that you're praying for, if you cannot release it back to God, you don't need to have it. If you cannot let it go, it is not for you. If it's greater than your love for him, don't pray for it. You got to be willing Whatever in your life, you got to be willing to give it back to him. You got to be willing. That in spite of the prayers, you know, God, oh, here you are. If you require it back from me, here you go. Anna vowed that vow. And Anna said, I'm going to do that. Go on with me. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Anna, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. You talk about prayer where you look crazy. You talk about prayer where you don't care what your neighbor is saying about you. You talk about real prayer that you will tarry until God answer. You talk about when you really want something from God. It don't matter what you may look like. Therefore, Eli thought she had been drunken. Eli thought that Sister Anna had done got on the bottle. She's been drinking. Eli said unto her, how long wilt thou be drunken? Sister Anna, how long are you going to continue doing this? He said, put away your wine from thee. Quit drinking, because I see that something is going on. And Anna answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I know I look crazy, but don't mistaken it for me being drunk. But I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit, and I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink. But she said, the only thing I've done, I've poured out my soul before the Lord. She said, the only thing I've done was to pour out everything that's within me. I've poured it out before him. Count not thy handmaid for a daughter of Bela, for out of the abundance, she said, I had a lot. It's an abundance. Out of the abundance of my complaint, it's many. Out of the abundance of my complaint and my grief have I spoken unto the Lord. I've emptied it out before him. I've given him everything. It's a lot that was in me. It's a lot of grief. It's a lot of complaining. It's a lot of things I don't understand, but I've taken it to him. Then Eli answered and said, go in peace. Before the blessing and anything can come, go in peace. I want you to get that peace, Anna. I know what you've done. I know how you've prayed. I know, but I want you to go in peace. You haven't gotten the blessing yet, but before he said anything, he said, go in peace. And the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou ask of him. But before anything else, get your peace. Before anything, get your peace. Get your handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went away. Guess what? Now she eating and did eat. Guess what? And now her countenance was no more sad. She went into prayer for something, and now she's came out of it with something else. She's no longer sad. So they rose up in the morning early and worshiped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Anna, his wife. And the Lord remembered her. Remember, if you go back where it says Anna asked the Lord to remember me. Verse 19 now says, and the Lord remembered. God haven't forgotten. He hadn't forgot the prayers that you've prayed. He haven't forgotten your petition. The Bible says, and the Lord remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come, about after Anna had conceived, wow, that she bore a son. She had a son. And she called his name Samuel, saying, because I have asked of the Lord. I have asked him of this. Anna said it didn't come easy. I had to go through a lot. I had to go through a lot of pain. I had to go through a lot of mockery. I had to go through a lot of sorrow. I had to go through a lot of grief. For this child have I asked of the Lord. And the man, Elkanah, and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Anna went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord, and catch this, and there abide forever. This is something that this woman has prayed for. This is something that this woman has needed. And now Anna is saying, God, I'm giving him back to you. What a sacrifice. She said, here he is, God, I'm giving him back to you. Anna said, God, I love you more. And the vow that I've made, God, you can do better with him than I can. Here he is. Here he is. The blessing is not greater than the one who gives the blessing to you. If you require it back of your hand, you got to be able to give it back to him. And Elkanah, her husband, says unto her, do what seemeth thee good. You thank God for a woman of God and a husband, a wife that understands when you're walking through. It makes a difference. He said to her, do what seemeth good. If you think that he needs to be, do what seemeth good. Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only the Lord, he said, establish his word. So the woman abide and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child, look at this, the child was young. Imagine the child that you've prayed for. You're not bringing a grown person because you can let them go and they done got on your nerves. This is your baby. This is your baby, the one and only child that you've prayed to God, Lord, give me that child. The Bible said that child was a young child. And Anna took the baby back to the temple. After all that I've prayed for. But God, guess what? You're worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it, God. I will give it back to you. Whatever you require of my hand, whatever you require of me, God, I will give it to you. Nothing is too great for you, God. And they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And she says, oh, my Lord, as thy soul liveth. She ran. She said, Eli, my Lord, as my soul liveth. Eli, do you remember me? I am the woman. She said, I am the woman that stood by thee. I'm the woman that you thought was drunk. I'm the woman that you thought something was wrong with. But here I am. I'm coming back to you. Eli, look. Eli, look. She said, I'm the woman that stood by thee, praying unto the Lord. She said, for this child, I prayed, and the Lord has given me, Eli, my petition, which I ask of him. Therefore also, I have lent him to the Lord. Here he is. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord. And he worshiped the Lord there. Can God trust you with the blessing? Can you be trusted to be blessed? Can you be trusted with the blessing? She did not vow, and then when she get it, she's nowhere to be found. But her heart was to God. Her heart panthed after the Lord. That was her source. And it didn't matter. She said, God, I give him back to you. God is requiring from us more. God is requiring from our hands more. If we can't let it go, something is wrong. If we can't release it, something is wrong. It shouldn't be too good to release it back. He wants to be number one. He wants to be number one. And nothing in this life is worth your walk with God. Nothing in this life is worth your commitment and love and dedication to God. Because the same God that taketh, he will always give it back. He's a faithful God. He's a faithful God. We're getting there. Go over with me. I'm coming to a closing. In Genesis 18. And they said unto him, where is Sarah, thy wife? The angels of the Lord said, where is Sarah, thy wife? And Abraham says, behold, she's in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah, thy wife, shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind her. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well stricken in age, and ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of woman. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I'm waxed old, shall I have pleasure? My Lord also being old. Also, oh, this is a joke, okay. And the Lord says unto Abram, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child, which I'm old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? Think of something that may be too hard for the Lord. He said, anything too hard. At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Genesis 21. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord said unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived as the Lord said, and bare Abram a son in his old age. What a miracle. And at the set time of which God had spoken to him. Y'all better believe your God. Believe your God. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Tell somebody, what a blessing, what a miracle. What a miracle. Do you know of anyone that had a child when they were 100 years old? What a miracle. And Sarah says, God has made me to laugh. I gotta laugh at this one. She said, I gotta crack up at this one. Because God, I know you're funny, but this is a good one. She said, so that all that hear will laugh with me. Just the way you are laughing, she said, you're gonna laugh with me. Because this is something else. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham, that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. Look at God. Look at God. She said, I've borne him a son in his old age. What a blessing that God had bestowed upon them, that God has given unto them. Genesis 22 in verse 1. And it came to pass, that was such a great blessing, and God did that thing. And it came to pass after these things that God tempted Abraham and said unto him, Abraham? And he says, behold, Lord, here I am. You just did this thing. Oh, here I am, God. What else you going to give us? What else you got for us? You just give me a child, and when I'm 100, what else do you have for us? Oh, here I am, Lord. I'm ready for this one. This is going to even be bigger than the first one. And he says, take now thy son, thy only son, the one I just gave you, yes. The one that you wanted and, yes. The only son, Isaac, the one that you really loved. And I want you to do this. Get thee into the land of Moriah, and I want you to offer him up there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. The thing you just gave to me, you're asking me now to give it back to you? You're asking it back of my hand now? You did such a great miracle. Surpasses miracle. I mean, you did a wonderful thing. And now you're telling me you want him back? And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac, his son, and cleave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place of which God had told him. Give me obedience, God. Let me be obedient. I may not understand. I may not get it. I may not get this one, but give me a heart of obedience to do what you say do. Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his voice, his eyes, and saw the place afar off. Abraham said unto his young man, hey, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad, we're going He didn't say we're going yonder to kill my son. I'm going yonder to take my son out. He said, I'm going yonder to worship. He said, I'm going yonder to worship. Abraham looked at it as, you know what? I'm going to worship my God. I'm going to worship my God. Because guess what? He asked this of me, and I'm going to do it. I'm offering this up to him. I'm going to worship. I'm going to worship. Then he said, I will come again. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac, his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham, his father, and says, Father? And he says, here I am, my son. And he says, behold the fire and the wood. I mean, I may be a little bit slow, but something's wrong with this picture. I know I'm not supposed to ask many questions, but this setup here don't look right. He said, I've seen the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Abraham said, my son, God will provide for himself a lamb for a burnt offering. Look at the faith of Abraham. Look at the trust and the dedication. Look at what Abraham believed God. And Abraham believed if he take me to it, he's able to bring me right through it. He didn't wander to and fro, but he trusted in the God that he serves. He said he would provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. It couldn't be our teenagers of this day. That was a different time. Whew. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abram built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac, his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. Tell somebody, crazy faith. Crazy faith. Crazy faith. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven. Abraham was connected. Abraham was connected. See, you can't go through things like this and not be connected to the source. You cannot be thrown in the fire and be able to make it out if you're not committed and connected to him. Abraham knew what step to take, where not to go, how to do it, because he was in tune with God. The angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and says, Abraham, Abraham. And he says, here I am. And he says, lay not thine hand upon the lad. Don't touch him. Neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know this thing, Abraham, that you just did just now. What I've taken you to, this situation right here. The way I've seen you handle this. The way that I see that you did not run away. The way that I see that you stood there and you didn't leave me and you didn't doubt me, but you believed me all the way. He said, this thing that I see that you did just now. He said, Abraham, for now I know that thou fearest God. That thou fearest God. The Bible said that he tempted Abraham. He wanted to see. God knew what Abraham was going to do. But he tempted Abraham to see what Abraham was going to do in this situation. Could it be that some situations that we're in, could it be that God is waiting on us? Y'all not getting this. Could it be that God is trying to see, how are you going to handle this thing? How are you going to treat this situation? He says, no, I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy whole, see, you don't have 2 or 3 more over here where you can go cleave to. This is the only tennis shoe you got. This is the only good pair of tennis shoes. And God said, take it off your feet and give it to this gentleman over here. You don't have another one to go to. I heard one pastor say, God not going to ask you for your junk. Because we'll be good. We'll be quick to give him those things that we don't even care for. You know that television, that don't really work right. Oh, yeah, I got two, but this good one here, we cover it up with a sheet, but you can have this one. We are so quick to give away that thing that we don't want. But whenever God comes to you and he asks you for something, baby, he's coming for that precious thing. He's coming for that thing that you just held so close and you held so dear, and it means the world. He's coming for that. He says, yeah, that one there. Move that chair. You know I'm talking about, that one right there. Don't try to hide that one, yes. Sister Lauren, that beautiful pair of black shoes with the rhinestone, that one. He asked you for the good stuff. But he wants to see, because nothing will come before him. He wants to see, tell somebody beside you, how is your heart? How is your heart doing today? What is in there? Create in me, O God, a clean heart. Renew a right spirit within me. So that, God, I can go through these things. So, God, that when these things come, I can go through them. Because if they come at me when I'm in the wrong space, it will take me out. So God wants us to be right in him. And sometime when he comes and he dismantles stuff and he tears things up, and it's not to hurt you. It's not to hurt you. It is to make you better. It is to get you ready for the next level. He's not, hear me, he's not trying to strip you and leave you out in the cold. No. He's wanting to prepare you. He's wanting you to be able to handle the fire. We are soldiers. We got to be able to take pressure. And God sometimes has to press us and press us and press us. But guess what? He's making a vessel of honor. He's making a vessel of honor. And you've got to be, you have to want to be made. Don't try to get out of his hand. Let him make you. Let him make you. Because look what he said, for now I know, Abraham, that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horn. Abraham told his son, the Lord will provide. The Lord will provide. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for burnt offering in the stead of his son. Who tell you that God is not going to come through for you? Whoever told you that God is not going to do it? You got to wait on the Lord. You got to trust the Lord. You got to believe him. You got to have faith and believe that it may look crazy right now, but God is doing the miraculous. That God is doing something great situation, that was not a beautiful thing in his eyes. But he trusted, because you gave me that son, Lord, at 100. And now you ask, I'm trusting you. And here he is. Keep going. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh. God will provide. I don't know about you, but let me tell you something. God will provide. God will provide. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to lose sleep over anything, because he is my Jehovah Jireh. He is my provider. He owns it all. As it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and says, by myself have I sworn, because I can't swear by no other, but by myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing. See, there's a lot of things that you've done, but this one thing, this just puts you over the top, boy. This just puts you way up there. For this one thing that thou hast done, and thou hast not, and he said again, thou hast not withheld thy son. The Lord said it again, you have not withheld your son, your only son. Because you've done this, because I've tested you, and because I've seen your heart is pure. There's some stuff there. Your heart is pure. You love me. You want me. You don't cherish the other. You want me. He said, because you did not hold back from me, this is what I'm going to do. That in blessing, I will bless thee. Go back to verse 16 for me. He said, by myself have I sworn, saith the Lord. Go back to verse 17. God said, I'm telling you this by myself. I'm going to swear this thing, that in blessing, who can change God's mind? Who can switch and turn? It came out of the mouth of God that Abraham, in blessing, I'm going to bless thee. And it says, in multiplying, I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand, and as the sun. Go out there and try to count them sands. God said, you're not just going to get a double portion. You're going to get a double. There is no stopping. Do you see what obedience brings? Do you see what obedience brings in your life? Nobody can remove that. When God says, I will bless you, it don't matter if your enemy hates you. It don't matter if your neighbor despises you. It don't matter what they do. When God has a blessing from you, can nobody take it away from you.